Alright, so in this video we're going to make this right here. We're going to take the Brotherhood of Steel bomber jacket, add it over top of this outfit, slap a grenade on the side, and then we'll have this. If you follow along and pay close attention, you will be able to create this. You don't need any prior modeling software experience, you just need to pay attention, and you will be able to make this. In front of you is a list of everything you're going to need to create your mod for Fallout 4. You're going to need Fallout 4, unsurprisingly. You're going to need Nifskope, either version 7 or 8, for browsing through Bethesda's archives to pick out the pieces we want for our outfit. We're going to need Blender. I will be using version 2.79 in this video, and you can follow along with any version, but if the key bindings or shortcuts I use in mine are slightly different from your version, I can't really help you there. We're going to need Bethesda Asset Extractor for extracting the Bethesda assets. We're going to need Outfit Studio, where the more technical finalizing of our outfit happens. We're going to need BGSM Edit if we are using custom materials and textures. If you intend to just use vanilla materials and textures from the game, you can just skip past that part. We're going to need Creation Kit for creating our thing into a tangible object in-game that we can actually pick up. We're going to need Archive 2 if you intend to package your mod and send it off to the world. We're going to need Notepad++ if you intend to do dismemberment segments, and you're going to need patience. You will not be a master modding guru by the end of this video, but if you pay attention and follow along, you will have a functioning mod. Okay, so like I said, we're going to make this, so let's get to it. We're going to start off by opening up Nifskope. You're going to go to File, Browse Archive, and you're going to navigate to wherever Fallout 4 lives on your computer. So that should be Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Fallout 4. Then you want to go into Data. You want to scroll all the way down to Fallout 4 Meshes. Now once you're inside here, all of these little categories have drop-down arrows. This is pretty much all of the models in the game, or at least in this particular archive. So we're going to get the Brotherhood of Steel bomber jacket, we're going to get the green shirt and combat boots, or whatever it's called, and we're going to get a fragmentation grenade. So let's start off with the jacket here. Now you can type in whatever here, like if I were to type in a jacket, it will get jackets if they're named as such, but sometimes the name might not always reflect what it actually is. So in this case, let's try Lancer. Now you'll notice there are things that start with the letter F for female and M for male. We will be making a male outfit in this tutorial. So we've got our jacket right here, but we just want the jacket, right? No sweat. So we can just right click on the part that isn't the jacket, and you can see it highlights in green. So this right here, we will not be needing this, so go to Block, press Remove Branch, and there we go, just the jacket. Now that might not be an option in every case you have, but in this case it was two dissimilar materials. The Under Armour was a different material from the jacket, hence why it was separated. So now that we have just the jacket, go to File, Export, OBJ. It's going to tell you this, just press Yep. Now we're just going to dump all of this on our desktop for this tutorial. So jacket.obj, and you can see it just got spit out right over here. OBJ and MTL. Don't worry about MTLs, we do not need that. Now if you want to go back to that list of everything ever where you could search for whatever, just click on Archive Browser to get there again. So there's a ton of stuff you can go through. Some of it will be classified as clothing, others armor. I just know in this case it happens to be clothing. And I happen to know that it's called Wasteland Common. No, you do not want to save changes, because we don't really want to save the part where we deleted the Under Armour, so click No. So here's this. Now another thing worth mentioning, you will notice it's got skin underneath but no hands or head. That's fine, there will be more on that later, if I remember. But in this case, let's just export with it. So we don't need to click on anything at all. like we could, but since we don't intend to delete anything, we can just export as is. So we're going to go File, Export, OBJ, click OK, and I'll just save this one as undershirt this time. Now on the desktop over here, it's going to spit it out, undershirt MTL and undershirt OBJ. We can get rid of the MTL. And now we need our grenade. So let's go to Archive Browser. That should be in Weapons, because I'm pretty sure grenades are classified as weapons. So we can scroll through all of these. Yeah, grenade right there. We got our different types. But in this video, we're just going to use the fragmentation grenade. So this right here, that's what we want. So we're going to export that as is. Yep. Nade. And you can see it's on the desktop again. Okay, so we've got the 3 pieces that we want. Now we're going to go into Blender where the magic happens, or at least phase 1 of the magic. Just follow along and don't be intimidated, you got this. Alright, so now the most labor-intensive part of the entire project begins, but don't be intimidated, it's not that hard. So we're going to open up Blender. Like I said, I'm using version 2.79. So that's going to take its sweet time loading, just give it a moment. Now, chances are, when you first boot up, you're going to see a bunch of stuff on the screen here. I'm using my imagination here to kind of picture what you're seeing. So there will be a bunch of things. Before you do anything, press A on your keyboard, press X to prompt it to delete, and then just delete everything. So it'll be nice and clear, just like you see on my screen here. Okay. So some quick buttons or key bindings on Blender here. Scroll wheel goes in and out. Scroll wheel while holding Control goes side to side. Scroll wheel while holding Shift goes up and down. Middle click and then moving the mouse around allows you to rotate stuff like that. It's not that hard, trust me, you got this. Okay, so we're going to go to File, Import, OBJ format. We're going to go to our desktop where our stuff lives, and we're going to first import the undershirt. We'll deal with this first. That's going to take a hot minute to import. Okay. So now immediately you can see the whole thing is highlighted in orange. Don't click anything, okay? Just press the letter A on your keyboard to deselect it. The next thing you'll notice is it's kind of large and it's lying down on its back. You might be thinking, oh, don't we want it to be standing upright vertically when we work on it? No, just leave it there. Just leave it there. Now let's take a peek at this. Remember I was telling you about materials earlier, like how the bomber jacket was separate from the Under Armour? That would also be reflected here in Blender. So ultimately, if we changed our mind and we realized we didn't actually want this skin here, we could right-click on just where the skin is, and if I press Z to go into wireframe mode, you can see it's just that little bit of neck and the 2 arms. If we decided we wanted to get rid of that, we would press X while it's highlighted, and then delete. In this case, we will be keeping it for the time being. Now, you can also send things to different layers if it would help you out. So, for example, let's say we do actually want the skin not to be gone forever, but just to be out of the way for the time being. You can right-click on it, press M, and move it to another layer. You can click on any of these. I'll send it to the second layer. And then if you follow my cursor, you'll notice down here, we now have 2 little layers we can click on that alternate between what is where. Okay, so in the next part, let's import the jacket now. Now the jacket is here, but you'll notice it's not exactly a seamless fit over top of the undershirt. It's got some clipping going on. That's the whole reason we're bringing it into Blender to begin with. We're going to fix that. So, we'll deal with the grenade later, because that will be one of the easier parts. For now, let's just operate with the jacket and the undershirt. So the best way to do this would be to start off by deleting every part of the undershirt that we will not need. which is basically just everywhere that the jacket would be covering. Of course, we can't see the back because he's wearing a jacket, so we'll get rid of the back. So what you want to do is right click on the undershirt, press tab to toggle edit mode. Now you'll see the whole thing is all like polygonal and wireframing crap, and it's all highlighted orange. That means we are in edit mode. If you tap tab again, you go between object mode and edit mode. This tutorial is not really going to cover object mode because it's not really relevant for what we're doing. I'm just going to teach you the basics of how to accomplish what we're trying to do for Fallout modding. This isn't really a Blender tutorial. So, let's get to it. Let's zoom in, press tab for edit mode, and now let's get rid of these polygons that we're not going to see. Now, I'm going to use face select, whereas right now, it's on vertices select. You can do edge select, you can do face select. When I do face select, you'll see that these little dots showed up. So if I were to press C to prompt this little circle select, and then scroll wheel up and down, and then a left click, you can see it grabs by entire faces. Whereas you can do it in other ways, like if you wanted vertices select, you could make it grab like this. I find face selected just to be the most efficient, so we're going to go with that. So, an easy way to do this would be to just keep everything that isn't what we don't see. So we can do that by pressing A to select everything, and then we would just deselect the parts that should stay, and then we'll prompt the parts that are still highlighted for deletion. So right now, I've got the whole outfit selected here. So I'm going to press Z to go into wireframe. Or, hold on, let me explain. So I'm going to press C to prompt this little circle guy to come up. If you middle click, it deselects what your cursor is over. But if we wanted to penetrate through to the other side, we would want wireframe mode. So you can see that just got the top. Whereas if we wanted the whole thing, if we deselected that while wireframe was enabled, it went all the way through to the bottom. Get what I mean? Okay, so we're just going to start off with a rough deselection of, let's say, about, yeah, this seems like a safe amount to start with, I would say. And now we're going to want to get some of the sides there too. Okay. That seems about right. So now that that is selected, just like at the start of when we opened a Blender, I said you would want it selected, you would press X on the keyboard. Now this time, instead of it prompting you to delete everything, you can go by vertices, faces, or edges. Just go with faces. Do not go with vertices. Vertices tend to overexpand their reach. It's kind of hard to describe, but if you get enough experience in Blender, you'll see what I mean. So we got this going for us now. But you'll notice the jacket is still clipped inside there. It would be kind of a pain to constantly be battling the threshold of where the jacket is when it rests up against the undershirt here. So one of the easy things to do, or really just proper optimal, would also be to increase the size of the jacket. But we don't want the whole jacket to just get bigger. That wouldn't look good. We just want certain parts of it to get bigger. So pay close attention. So let's just say it's this bottommost section, right? Well, let's get a better view at that. So here's another little trick. We can go to View, View Ortho Perspective. Now you'll notice that just made things a lot more flat and artificial looking, but it's much handier for fine-tuning what you're doing here. And then we can go to View again, do Top View, or we can do Left, we can do Right, you know, Bottom, etc., etc. But right now we're going to do Top. So now that we're looking at it like this, remember we're going to go into wireframe mode so we can grab through like the entire thing. We're going to grab it just the bottom bits here. If I just drag my cursor along slowly, it's a nice even cut. Now from here, we can scale this part to be bigger. So, but let's say you don't want it to scale all at the same time. Let's say you just want it to go in one direction or another. So in this case, let's say I just want it scaled on the x-axis. So I'd press S for scale, but then while this is selected, press X to clarify what axis it expands on. You can also do that for Y, and you can also do that for Z. And if you want to undo something you just did, obviously press Control Z. So let's puff out the jacket a bit on the bottom here. And if we wanted to go by nice even increments, you can see there's a little magnet button here. That'll do nice little snap points if you don't want to do everything freestyle. So we'll do snap points for a little bit. So let's expand it outward a bit. Now obviously we want it to kind of taper off. We don't want it to just keep getting big like that. So let's go into wireframe mode. Let's press C to pull up that little tool there. And now let's deselect the next little like row of vertices or faces here. Let's expand again. Let's deselect the next two. Now it's not perfect. You might need to do some fine tuning and adjustment yourself. So I'm going in and I'm left clicking right now to reselect the faces that I think I still want. Okay, that should be good, maybe. Here's another little trick. If you want the increments to go smaller, you can hold the shift while grabbing to kind of change it up like that. Actually, yeah, we're going to shrink that back down just a hair. Actually, this would be one of the cases where vertice select would help. So we'll switch off from face and we'll go to vertice. Now we just want this middle section shrink. So we'll deselect the bottom and we'll deselect the top. We'll just leave that middle section right there. So S for scale, X for clarifying x-axis, and then hold shift to do it in small little increments. Press A to deselect, and that looks fine there at least. But let's make sure that the back is good to go also. Again, we press C, we go to our selection tool, just grab a bunch like that. We can do this on vertice or face select. I should probably be doing this on face. Now let's grab a good amount of it right here like that. We'll go to our side view. Now in this case, we don't just want to scale it by the z-axis because we don't really want to go up that much either. So what we could do, this is kind of lazy, but it should work. We actually will scale it just a little bit on the z-axis. But now we're going to grab it with G. G for grab, and you can move it around. Now same thing with the scaling trick. You can move it by x-axis, y, and z. You can probably see where this is going. So with this grabbed, we're going to press Z, and we're just going to go down a notch. Or let's fine tune that a bit. Hold shift, go down a little bit more. Yeah, that's probably okay. Probably. So our jacket looks mostly good to go. There's just a few odd spots here or there that we might want to fix up. Nope, we don't want all that selected. You kind of just got to get a feel for where every polygon is that you're grabbing, because it's not just grabbing the outside, it's got stuff going on the inside also. So in this case, let's, yeah, like that right there. We don't want that. So let's scale that by Z again. We'll hold shift, make it a bit bigger. Even if we want, we can drag it down a little bit more like that. That should be good. Now let's clear up that back. Obviously he's still got a bit of his shirt clipping through. So with the under outfit equipped or selected, press A to grab all of it again. And we can actually, again, do this in two ways. We could either deselect the parts that we want to not get deleted, or we could just select the parts we do want to get deleted. We'll do the latter this time. So we can kind of visualize what's going on here, like underneath his jacket. And we could probably conclude, you know what, we don't really need these parts right here. So let's go and grab everything that you think isn't or won't or shouldn't be seen. We'll just go ahead and grab that. Now make sure that whatever you grab doesn't bleed through to the top. If it does, just middle click on it to deselect it. Now I'm toggling between wireframe on and off just to make sure none of this stuff is highlighted orange, because we will be seeing that. We don't want that to be marked for deletion. Yeah, like we got some stuff on the back here, we can get rid of that. There's a little bit under the collar, but no one's gonna see that. That should be fine. We'll delete faces. I'd say there's even more we could grab. So anyway, I'm not going to narrate over every last polygon here. Just go through, delete what you don't think is going to be seen pretty much. I'll be with you in a minute. Okay, now that we're content that we've got just the right amount of it visible, if you zoom out, you'll notice it looks like it's clipping, but really it won't be. You'll be fine, I promise. So here, let's get out of flat view. We're going to go back to view, and we're going to go to view perspective, and we're back here again. Now, I should bring this up right here, right now. You'll notice that the sleeve here is getting a little chunky. That's because characters actually have designations on their outfits for whether or not a spot should be unrendered if they're wearing a Pip-Boy. So it looks like there's a sleeve that's rolled up over top of where there's still a normal sleeve. Oh, by the way, if you hover your cursor over a segment and you press L on it, you could just select the entire segment. It's a handy little trick. I probably should have brought that up earlier. But anyway, if you were to use your imagination, you could see how that would just be a normal jacket, right? Like without the sleeve rolled up, but then you can see underneath here is the rolled up sleeve. So there will be more on that when we get to the outfit studio part of the video. Now let's get that grenade on there. So file, import, object, and we'll grab the grenade. The grenade is over there. Now we're going to rotate it because it's facing the wrong way. So we can either press R to rotate, or we type R and then enter a number. So let's say 90, and then clarify a orientation like X, Y, Z. So in this case, let's do 90X. That looks about right. So now pressing G to grab, and then Y to go on the Y-axis. We're going to bring it down here. I'm going to turn wireframe on. G and then X for X-axis. And then R to rotate, and we'll do Z-axis rotation to give it a bit of a tilt. You know what, we'll even go up a little bit right there. Or let's rotate it like that. Yeah, good enough. It's not perfect, but this is just for demonstration purposes. Okay. So we got our bomber jacket, we've got our Under Armour or outfit, whatever you want to call it, and we've got our grenade on our side, just like we wanted. Now remember, the skin, we've moved to a different layer. We can bring that back now. So we can go here, click on it with a right click while it's in object mode, M, then send that over to layer 1, and now everything's together like one big happy family. Now, we don't need the arms since they're not rendered here, but we're still going to want to keep the neck skin. So grab the skin part, go into wireframe, press tab for edit mode, C for the circle select, middle click to deselect the neck part, X and delete by faces, so there. We got skin, undershirt, jacket, and grenade. We're good to go on this part. So we're going to go to File, Export, OBJ to Desktop, and we'll just call it Frankenstein. Export OBJ, and you'll see it's right there, and it even spit out an MTL. We don't need the MTL, so just get rid of that, but there. We got it right here, and now we're going to move on to the Outfit Studio part of the video. Alright, now this is where the next part comes into play, Bethesda Asset Extractor. So get that loaded up. Now what we're going to do here is pull the jacket and the under outfit from Fallout 4 so we can use those as our kind of guideline for Outfit Studio. So go to where Fallout 4 lives again, so Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Fallout 4, go to Data, and again go to Meshes. Now do you remember the names of those items? I do. Let's try Lancer. Click on this box to unselect everything. We're just going to grab Outfit, and we can grab this .ssf. If you intend to do dismemberment segments, you will be needing that. That will come up later, but we'll just grab it here. Let's just make a new folder here called BOS Jacket. Now we're going to extract this to BOS Jacket. So select folder. Let's make another one called whatever it was, under outfit. That one was Wasteland Common. So yeah, make sure not everything's selected. We grab outfit M and outfit M.ssf for dismemberment. Throw it in there, select folder, and we need another for the grenade. So we got the frag grenade, we go there, grenade. Okay, so we've got each individual piece here in their own folders. Now we're going to use them together in Outfit Studio. Now, we're not necessarily using these in Outfit Studio. We're going to be using the thing we made, but you'll see what I mean. Okay, so let's start off with the under outfit. Go to Meshes, Clothes, Wasteland Common, grab the .nif and just slap it in here. Now you'll see that is here. That looks familiar, doesn't it? Kind of like the thing we're looking at with Nifskope. And you'll see it's got the segments. It's got the skin I was talking about, and it's got the outfit. So for now, let's just leave the outfit. We're going to go to File, Import, OBJ. Going to go to our desktop. We're going to grab our Frankenstein. We'll name these as they become relevant, but for the time being, just give them generic names. Now you'll see it appeared, but it's gigantic, it's underneath us, and it's untextured. None of those are optimal. We're going to fix all of those. So a bit of a controlled rundown. You can hold right click and then move your cursor around to navigate like that. Scroll wheel in and out goes like that. Scroll wheel with... okay, never mind. It doesn't have as many controls with Blender in Common as I thought. Now here's a little trick. Every time you import something into Outfit Studio, it's going to be 10 times larger than it really should be. So let's click on each segment. I'm holding shift, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Right click on it. Go down to scale. And just type in a 1 right there. and then change that to a 0. Then press OK. So you can see it's much better sized now, but it's still all the way down there. So we're going to fix that by moving it, but we're going to move it a specific amount. So to figure out where it should go, take this outfit for example, this guy right here. Right click, properties, coordinates. You'll see the coordinates here. We're going to mimic these except the inverse, so we're not going to move it negative 120 yada yada, we're going to move it positive. So left click, shift, select them, right click, move. Yeah, let's punch that number in, positive 120 whatever. You can still see it's forward a bit, so we're going to grab the coordinates here too, coordinates. But we're going to go negative 0.88 this time when we move them. There we go. Now we can see it's nice and intersected over it, all happy and dandy and all that jazz. Okay. So first let's name our stuff so we know what we're looking at. We'll disable visibility on these here. So one appears to be the skin. So we'll right click on that and we'll just name it skin. Or actually, we don't need to do this part technically if we were going to borrow from what's already here. Like Outfit Studio, when we imported the under outfit, it already has this stuff here. So remember in Blender when I had you delete the arms? We could have done that in Blender or in here. So on second thought, we'll actually keep it here. So we don't need this one. So we can right click on that, click delete, and yep, we do not need it. So 2 appears to be the grenade. So we'll rename that to grenade. 3 is the entire like pants and shirt. So we'll just name that outfit. And then 4, obviously it's going to be the jacket. So we'll rename that to jacket. Now that doesn't solve the issue of the fact where they're still untextured. We'll get to that. So remember this right here, the actual outfit. So go to that again, properties. So the BGSM is like the material it actually uses. Remember early on in the tutorial when I said if we were just using vanilla textures and materials, we would not need BGSM edit, this thing right here? Well, in this case, we're just going to be using vanilla stuff, so we will not need to use this tool, but we're still going to need to know what the materials are. Now, every time you import something vanilla from Fallout 4 and Outfit Studio, it should just prompt you with, like, it's already pre-textured, it already has the material path. So we're just going to borrow that. Going to go to our outfit, properties, paste it in there, and you can see ours is there now. Now granted, it's intersecting with it, it's over top of it, but now ours has the texture. So we're going to go do that. We're going to open up another Outfit Studio, actually. We can ignore that. So instead of working in one window here, we're just going to grab the texture from the next thing, or the material. And grab that. Go to jacket, properties, copy that, go over to ours over here, properties, paste that. And now we can just slap the grenade in here also. Grab the grenade materials, go over here, paste the grenade materials, and blammo, look what we got. Now we're not quite done here yet. We can close out of that. So this is not weight painted currently. So weight painting is how the model decides it is supposed to move when the skeleton inside of it is moving. Obviously when you're running, you want the legs to be moving. You wouldn't want them to just be standing there, not moving. That'd be a little bit horrifying. So Now, what Outfit Studio has that I really wish every modding tool had is the ability to just easily copy-paste weight paints. You won't even have to worry about this that much. So, let's deselect everything real quick, just so we know what we're looking at. This was the original outfit. Now, granted, it came with the arms, but this is the original one, whereas this is our modified one. So we're going to want the modified one to borrow the weights of this thing right here. You can see the weight painting, like this is what I was talking about. So the model knows how to move with the skeleton when you're running around in game, all that good stuff. So we're going to right click on this. We're going to set this as the reference. You'll realize it just highlighted green now. Going to go to bones, click on the top one, scroll all the way to the bottom, hold shift, click on the bottom. Go back to meshes, click on hours, this one right here, shape, copy selected weights, and you can typically just keep these numbers where they are. Sorry about that head interruption. Okay, anyway, when we go to here, we can see that our custom mesh that we just Frankenstein together basically just copied all the other one's homework's answers, so we didn't have to do any of the hard stuff right here. So now let's do the same with the jacket. So we're not going to get the jacket to reference this since it's not really the same shape, and we already know that we have a much more authentic fit for this. So we can go to the jacket again, meshes, armor, Night Lancer, drag and drop it into our current project here. And now, if we deselect everything, we can see this is here. Our stuff is all underneath it. But remember, we edited ours, so it was like puffed out a bit. It's not exactly a one-to-one copy, but it's close enough. So we're going to make the BOS jacket, the one whose homework answers we're going to copy. So we're going to make that one the reference. And same deal, go to the top, go to the bottom, shift, left click, meshes, click on our jacket, shape, copy, do that. And if we deselect that one, we can see now ours just inherited all the bone weights of the original. So now this stuff will be just about ready to move in-game. So we can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. And now we have ours right here. Ours is still good to go. So we got the grenade there. Now, I'm going to intentionally do something wrong with the grenade because I want you to actually see this error before we fix it. So, we can get rid of the original outfit. We don't need it anymore. We can bring back the body. Now, we can't actually see the arms in there, but it's not exactly proper craftsmanship to leave it there. So we're going to delete the arms. That, and I want you to learn how to do this. So uncheck everything that isn't the arms. Go click on the pencil tool over here and set it to the circle here with the rectangle select over it. Now, do you remember in Blender when we had things that were marked as orange and we were going to delete everything that was orange but leave the parts that weren't undeleted? Same deal. With this, anything green is marked for deletion, whereas if we go draw over it by holding left click, it marks it in red. So red means it's not selected, green means it is selected. I'm going to press Control A to undo that. Now if you don't want mirror selecting on, you can just uncheck this right here if we just wanted to grab one spot. In this case though, we actually want both the arms to get deleted, but the most efficient way to do that would actually be just to select the neck skin. So both the arms are green, you seeing where this is going? Now right click on here, do not click delete, do not click that, but rather click delete vertices. That gets rid of just that. Now we can re-enable everything, and look, our guy here is good to go. So we're gonna, now remember I told you about the grenade. I'm intentionally doing this wrong and you're gonna see why. So we're gonna go to File, Export, NIF. Now look, the following shapes have unweighted vertices, which can cause issues. The affected vertices have been put under a mask. You want to save anyway. And see how it says grenade is the part that's wrong? I wanted you to see this error, so I could show you how to manually weight paint. We're going to press yes. We're just going to call it my mod. So, now the grenade is all black. So let's open this up again. So if we were to slap ours into here, you know, we can go check out our bone segments. Like bones, that's all good to go. It's still got its weights. But we never actually weight painted the grenade. We're going to do that now. So what we want to do is find how should the grenade really be moving. Like, first we got to figure out what part of the body would be the best fit for that. So we'll go to the jacket since it's holding on the jacket, and we can go through all of these till we find something that seems like it might be suitable for it. Like here, maybe spine 1 skin. Spine 1 skin is probably adequate. Probably. So let's unselect what's not going to be needed here. We're going to go to Bones here for our grenade. And we're on Spine 1 skin. So while we're still under the Bones tab here, and this is going to prompt us to weight paint, we can actually get rid of the jacket here for now. So go to Bones, go to Brush Settings, turn that strength all the way up. Size can be whatever. We'll make it bigger actually. So I'm going to click a few times on the grenade. So the one is blue, so this just went from not colored at all to blue. So how weight paints work is the more farther something goes down the blue to red on the color spectrum, the more influence it has. So blue is just kind of whereas red is very, very rigid. Well, grenades don't really have moving parts. It's not a leather jacket that flows in the breeze or flaps around when you're running. No, it's one solid object. So one solid object we would want to be very rigid. So we would make that red. So I'm going to hold my cursor, hold left click on this. I'm just going to go up and down a bunch. And there, it is red. So now our grenade should be one singular rigid object that moves with us when we move. So we're going to go to File, Export, NIF, and you can see it didn't give us the error this time because it's content that we finally weight painted it like it was supposed to be. So here's our outfit. We got this going. Now we don't have dismemberment segments yet. So we can hook that up in a moment. That's going to be kind of tedious, but it is completely optional. Your custom model can work without dismemberment, but if you want to target someone in VATS who is wearing it, or you want to shoot their limbs off, you will need to set this up. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to do is dismemberment segments. We're going to slap ours into one instance of Outfit Studio. We're going to launch another instance of Outfit Studio, where it's going to have the original vanilla outfit in there. So you'll notice that we've got meshes, we've got bones, and then we've got this tab for segments. Pay close attention to that. Also pay close attention to which one we're actually on. So we'll do outfit here. So if we go over here to outfit and we go to segments, you'll notice it's got a bunch of designations for like entire limbs and pieces of limb. You're going to want to pay attention to these because we're going to be pretty much emulating what we see here over in ours over here. Now, when you import a model as OBJ format into Outfit Studio, it does not preserve any of this data. Like, when we were looking at this on Nifskope or whatever, it was fine there, but as soon as we exported it as an OBJ, and then loaded it into Blender, it lost all of this data. We are going to rebuild it. So we'll go to Outfits, we'll go to Segments. You'll notice it's got segments and subsegments. You'll notice it ends at 6. So we're going to right click here, and we're just going to keep adding segments until it gets to number 6. Segment 2 refers to the right arm, hence why it's human 2, R, up arm, yada yada, R, low arm. Segment 4 is the left arm, with all the segments of the left arm. Now you'll also notice that it kind of just stops at the clothing, it doesn't keep going down to the skin. That's because the other mesh actually handles that. So the separate pieces of the mesh kind of handle their own dismemberment segments. Now in this case, we actually don't have the flesh arms set up, because remember we just did the neck skin. So we won't have to worry about that for hours. Anyway, so back to segments. As soon as you put in your 6 segments here, just press apply. Just religiously press apply, because if you just X out of this without paying any attention, it will get rid of what you just did. You do not want that. So let's go back to the outfit, segments. So 2 is always the right arm, 3 is always the torso, 4 is always the right arm, and 5 and 6 are legs. You'll notice it just skips over segment 0 and 1, that's fine. We actually don't have arms on our version of this, as you can see, so we can skip that entirely. We still needed to get all the way down to segment 6, so we still need to make sure that we've got the 6 plus 0 segments added, but then we just add the subsegments to each corresponding one. So we'll notice that 5 has 5 subsegments. So we'll go add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 6 also has 5 subsegments, starting at 0, of course. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now just press apply. So there's the subsegments, and then there's the entire segment. We're going to start off with the entire segment. So segment 5 just seems to be basically the entire right leg. We're going to emulate that as best as we can. Now you'll notice that these subsegments have names. We're not going to deal with that just this second. We're going to just get the broader segment first. So with one window open here, just try to match that as best you can. So it's going to give you this little prompt for this selection. Just hold left click, and again you can adjust the brush size and whatnot. I don't think strength matters here, but brush size, you just want to make sure you're not accidentally grabbing other pieces of it. So you want to work with something small and concise that's not going to reach over too much. Or if you're in kind of a rush like I am, you can just do a big brush and just go up and down in great amounts like this. Just be very careful. Now you don't necessarily need to match the vanilla Fallout 4 one like down to the last vertice, but I like to, just for OCD purposes. Alright. I believe it's hard to tell because we're dealing with red on orange here. So if you're having trouble with that, what you can actually do is go to, where was it? You can actually disable textures, or you can also just disable lighting if this helps you at all. I like keeping lighting on, but I find that disabling textures helps me concentrate a bit. Okay, that seems like it's good enough for me, so we will press apply. You'll notice, hey, what the hell, that just turned green, why isn't it red anymore? Don't worry, it is still red if you select it. So we're going to go over to the other leg now. Well, actually, no, what we're going to do, right now it wants the entire torso, right? So it would actually be easier to just clarify what is the torso segment instead of the leg segment. Every now and then you'll encounter something funky like this, you just got to use your noggin, just kind of piece together what it wants you to do. So rather than painting the next leg, we're going to paint what isn't the next leg, and that's going to get classified as the torso, which is what's looking for now on segment 3. Remember, segment 3 is always the torso. So that's going to start off where, or end, I guess, depending on how you look at it, where the leg cuts off here. So everything above the leg is going to be considered the torso, even if technically it's the butt. So it seems like over here they have it go all the way in. I'll try to account for that when I do it here. Get a smaller brush, move in. That should be good. So now you can see segment 6 kind of just wrote itself based off what was available. But it's got a bit more going on here. We still want this bit to belong to segment 5, so we're just going to get our little brush tool out again and just clarify this actually belongs to segment 5. Thank you very much. Then for segment 3, we can just grab that little piece right there. This might be a bit of a pain. You might need to kind of try different brush sizes. Yeah, there. Good enough. It doesn't need to be one-to-one with Fallout 4 like I said earlier, but it does help to match it. So let's get the subsegments next. So we're going to start off with just that bit of thigh up there. Now let's name these first. So you want to right-click on them. No, that was a lie. You actually want to go down here and go to type. So subsegment 5 is going to be human 5 R up thigh. Seems like the next 2 are also going to be that. And the last 2 are going to be knee calf, knee calf. Press apply. Okay, now we go down to subsegment 6 with all of its subsegments. Okay, up leg, up leg. Now these are not always symmetrical, you'll notice. Just follow what your reference has. So the previous one was 3 thighs and 2 knees. This one is going to be 2 up legs and 3 knees. I don't know why, that's just how it is. I don't ask questions. Now you'll also notice that when we're going through there are slots. Those are actually slots for, you get a more in-depth look at them on Creation Kit for like what part of the body it covers per se. Now do you remember when we were on Blender here and I pointed out how it's got this rolled up sleeve here for the Pip-Boy wearers? That, if we were to open up another instance here and look at the bomber jacket, you would actually see how they do have that segment called slot 60 for the Pip-Boy, and you'll notice it selects that rolled up sleeve. We'll get to there when we get there, but I'm just pointing that out now. Okay, now anyway, same song and dance, you're just going to match the segments. I'm probably just going to mute and fast forward this part. Okay, one other thing worth noting, you're going to see the SSF file here. Do you remember when earlier I told you if you're going to do Dismemberment, you're going to need to grab the SSF file also? So this is pointing to Meshes Clothes Wasteland Common Outfit m.ssf. We're going to make ours use a differently named one. So our Outfit Studio is a little weird where it does not like if you press the letter C. We're just going to manually type in something here. We're going to go Meshes Clothes my custom outfit.ssf. We're going to copy that. We're going to paste that as the SSF file here. We're also going to do that for the jacket, so when we get there, it will already know what SSF file it's using. Alright, so we've got the legs set up, at least model-wise. The actual technical dismemberment coordinates come later in Nifskope, but we're not going to deal with that just a second. We're going to get it set up on the jacket next too. So, let's go to the jacket. We'll undo the outfit. Now the jacket is going to need 4 segments, because the arms go up to number 4, right? So we got 0 and 1, 2 is the right arm, 3 is the torso, and then 4 will be the left arm. So from here, let's actually take a gander at what the Brotherhood of Steel jacket uses, like how many segments they have and whatnot. So we go to jacket. Now this last one has the segment for the Pip-Boy, so we're going to want to put that. We're going to go to segment, or slot, go to Pip-Boy, so that is in there now. So we'll press apply. So let's get these arms segmented. So we'll start with segment 2. Alright, and that should be good for this segment. The next thing we're going to do is set up the dismemberment points in Nifskope. So we're going to export this. We're going to overwrite that. Alright. Alright, now we're going to be moving on to dismemberment segments. So we're going to get 2 instances of Nifskope open. One with our mod, and another with one of the pieces we're going to start using for our dismemberments. So there's a very important thing I need to point out right here, right now, before we get too far into this. So our outfit is obviously the same as this, it's just wearing the jacket. But if we click on this, and we go down to segments, we can see that it's got 23 total segments. Whereas our equivalent, like the undershirt with the pants, when we go there, it's only got 17 segments. This needs to be addressed immediately before we get any further into this. So why does ours have less segments? You might remember that's because we actually opted to remove the sleeves here. So that way on outfit here, when we went to segments, it skipped over 2 and 4, the right and left arm entirely, just went straight to the legs. So we need to make sure that whatever we're going to copy from here is adequate for a match for this. So we're going to open up another window of Outfit Studio. We're going to go to the outfit. We're going to put that in there. Go to outfit. We're not going to delete the segments, we are going to delete the sub-segments. So just delete the sub-segments for the limbs that are not being used. Apply. Export it. And we'll just call this reference. Okay, so we're actually not going to use the original outfit, we're going to use the one that we just adapted for our needs. So reference over here. Now if we click on it, we go down, we see it also has 17 total segments. This now matches ours. So let's make both these windows a bit bigger. Get comfortable, you're going to be doing a lot of copying and pasting here. Okay, so go to segments, and go to segment data, and then go to per segment data. And you might want to make this window a bit bigger. So segment data, per segment data. So what this entails, it's basically you're going to grab a bunch of number coordinates from each of these, but you're going to pay attention to which ones. So we're going to go one at a time, and you're going to see cut offsets and number of cut offsets. We're going to look for all the ones that are more than 0. I don't really know how to describe this, just you got to go through it. So go one at a time. So see how these are all num cut offset? Well, just keep going until you eventually find one with actual numbers on it. Like, look, this one right here has 4. So we're going to click this drop down arrow, and you're going to see it just spit out all these coordinates. So which one was this? If we click on it once and hover a cursor over it, that is array index number 7. So go over here, find whatever array index number 7 is. So 4, 5, 6, 7. Click that drop down. Punch in the number 4 here to match this over here. Press enter. Press the refresh button right there. Grab or click on this right here, and you'll see all these are 0. Well, we're going to copy paste these numbers from here to here, one at a time. And you're going to do this for every single non-zero number that you find as you go through these arrays. So that was index or array index 7. Well, index array 7 we just settled here, so that's good to go. So just keep going down one at a time. Like this next one has 0, we can skip over that one. This one has 5, so what? This is array index 9. So go down to array index 9. Set this to 5 to match that right there. Refresh this. Drop down. Drop down. Okay, now we're going to go grab the Brotherhood of Steel bomber jacket and do all the same stuff, but just for the jacket segment of our custom mod now. So I've got another thing of Nifskope open. Let's go get the Brotherhood of Steel jacket. Now we don't care about this part because we're not using it, we only care about this part. So if we go click on that, we will see its number of segments is 5. So ours is also 5 with 15 total segments. So that matches, that didn't change much. So segment data per segment data, same deal. Okay, after you've successfully copy pasted all of the segments, save. Save that shit. Okay, so that is good to go for this part. Next, we actually edit the Notepad file to include all of the segments it's got. Don't save. We can close out of that. Alright, now we're going to set up the dismemberment like technicalities in Notepad. That sounds really overwhelming, but it's actually not. So do you remember this right here? We made the SSF, or at least we created the name of the SSF file we'd be using. Meshes clothes, my custom outfit, outfit.ssf. Well here, let's go to the bomber jacket, for example. We're going to copy this. We're just going to copy it. We're going to rename it to whatever we called ours. So ours was just outfit.ssf. So we're going to edit this with Notepad++. We're going to open up this one with Notepad++. And then we are going to get the under outfit also with Notepad++. We're going to have all 3 of these open. So this one's ours, outfit.ssf. Outfit M is the undershirt, and M outfit is the BOS jacket. So if we were to go to Outfit Studio, you would remember that ours had all these names here, like base male body fitted, grenade, outfit, jacket, so on and so forth. Let's go there. Yeah. So we're going to basically want to copy the names, or we're going to want to get the names associated with the Notepad file here. So for ours, now we're not using BOS Under Armour on ours. You'll notice that name doesn't show up anywhere. We have jacket, outfit, grenade, and base male body fitted. These are the 4 names we are using. So we're going to start off by deleting everything under this bracket from here, BOS Under Armour, since we're not using that, all the way down to here. So jacket is going to be the start, but see how it's jacket : 0? Well, we didn't name ours that. Ours is just called jacket. So we're just going to have it called that. Now we are using the legs. Why do I have 3 windows of this open? Hold up. Now we're using the legs of this one, but we have just called that one outfit. Now the under outfit one right here uses base male body fitted, which is the same thing that we have ours named, base body male fitted, the little neck there. So we can copy that, and we can copy this actually. So we'll grab all that. We'll do an enter right there. Alright, I will be completely transparent right now. I have never been good at this kind of thing, like keeping track of where things start and end with like brackets, so it's possible that I might not be doing this right. So ours was just named outfit. We got base male body fitted. Now, our outfit did not have anything pertaining to the arms. Remember, we actually got rid of those segments entirely. So because of that, we can get rid of the references here to the arms. So get rid of that. And get rid of that. So from the top, we've got, actually, technically, I'm pretty sure this one should be the very, very first one. So we'll kind of switch places here with jacket. Okay, so we got base male body fitted : 0. Then the next thing we've got in line is jacket. I don't think this sequence actually matters here much. And then the next thing we've got is outfit. Now the grenade is small, inoffensive, and it's weighted entirely to the torso. This stuff doesn't really care about things pertaining to the torso. This is more preoccupied with the limbs. So you'll see like it's got left leg calf, right leg calf, thigh, forearm, etc. There's nothing pertaining to torso in here, so as far as I'm aware, we don't really have to worry about torso related stuff. Torsos, you'll remember I said, are segment 3. Like, see, segment 3, segment 3, segment 3, so we don't really have to worry about it. In fact, I don't actually know if we need to put an SSF file here at all, since we're not going to have a slot on here called grenade. So we're just going to assume that this is good to go. So we're going to save that. There's one thing I forgot about for like 2 seconds. Change this number to reflect the number of segments you got here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, not 6. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, I actually recorded this part already, but I wanted to address something I glossed over briefly. So for the first person arms, just load up your mod, or your outfit here. Delete everything that's not going to be seen in first person. Go to the pencil select, click on that thing. Now remember, green is selected, red is unselected. So we'll keep mirror editing on or whatever. We'll just unselect the arms. And that way everything green will be marked for deletion. That should be good enough. So delete vertices. Now we go to segments and press apply on it again. So that way they're just reapplied. Otherwise, it would have been set up so The sleeve here does not get rolled up on Pip-Boy users, so your Pip-Boy would be clipping through that, but it's fine now. So now just export that. iMod first person. Okay, so now go to Fallout 4, Data, Meshes, Clothes, My Custom Outfit, put your outfit in there, the first person model, and the Dismemberment, like Notepad file. Alright, onward onto the creation kit. So we're going to boot up the creation kit. We're going to immediately click File, Data, double click Fallout 4, Set as Active File, OK. Okay, so there's a lot of words here on screen. There's a lot of drop downs, there's a lot of categories. It all looks very scary. You don't need to be afraid. We're not going to be dealing with 99% of this. We're just going to be looking at armor add-on, armor, and constructible object. So, thankfully a bunch of these already exist, so we're just going to edit one, tweak it to our own likings, and then save it as a new piece. So we are making a jacket, so let's search for something jacket related. We're going to search this in armor add-on. We're going to begin here. So we'll take the high school jacket. We'll double click that. Now you can see the name here, the slots it takes up, the races it applies to, biped model for male and female, and then first person model for male and female. And then this little thing called no under armor scaling. Under armor scaling, you might notice if you wear some things and then other clothes on top of it, it makes your character look poofier. You can check this box to disable that. So this is going to fill the body slot, which is worn all over. And this is going to abide by the Pip-Boy slot, so it understands if you're wearing a Pip-Boy, then it'll know to make room for it. So we're going to go to biped model for male, because that's what we made the outfit for. Going to go to edit, meshes, clothes, yada yada. You're going to navigate to whatever yours is. My mod. Going to go down to the first person model, same thing, but now make it the first person version of it. And yeah, sure, ghouls can wear it, I guess, if they want. We're going to we're going to change the name of it to Protagonist Jacket, because that's us. We are the protagonist, obviously. Now, go to Armor, and we'll grab the same thing, the Letterman Jacket, but we're going to make this match whatever we're working on. So, first order of business. So, first order of business is go down here to Armor Add-on, that thing we just made. We're going to delete that, go to New, and we're going to plug it in with hours right there, so it carries over that data. You can see it's got its technical name here, so we're going to do Armor Protagonist. Remember that name, Armor Protagonist. So that's what the ID is going to be. The actual name can be whatever we want it to be. You'll notice it's at a character limit here. It's actually at 28 out of 24. That doesn't really matter. You can go over, but 24 is kind of the guideline for the text when it shows up on the Pip-Boy screen. So we're just going to make this very cool guy jacket. We're going to set the value, like if you were to sell it for caps, so like what the maximum amount would be, 20,000, because sure, why not? And we'll make it 20 pounds just so it's very obvious we're wearing it. I don't usually touch any of this other stuff, so I wouldn't worry about it right now. The world model, this is the model that it would be if it were to just be on the ground crumpled up. I don't actually bother with these ever, but if we wanted to be a bit more authentic, what we could do is actually go see what it's called when it's a world model here. So outfit go. Yeah, this would be Armor Night Lancer outfit go, if we wanted it to match that. Night Lancer outfit go. There. So now if you drop it on the floor, that's what it'll look like. We're going to press OK. We're going to create new form. Yep. And now we're going to go to craftable objects here. Or constructible objects, rather. We'll just grab any one of these, because we're just going to end up editing it and then saving as. So this will be craftable object outfit protagonist. I keep saying craftable, I know it's constructible, forgive me. It will create one armor protagonist. Remember, that's what we named ours. I don't actually know where this description ever even comes up. And now we can set what it takes. Well, I don't think it needs to take jet. But it will take, let's say, leather. So we go to C leather. Sure, I can take like 8 of those. And then we can do, say, C cloth. I know that there's C cloth scrap here, just use C cloth, and we'll just make it take 8 of those, I guess, also. Press OK. Create new form, yep. Okay. Now save as protagonist jacket. Okay. Now, what we're going to do take note of this number right here, 01000F9A. Now those first 2 digits, the 0 and the 1, will be different depending on whatever your load order may be. So in this case right here, I'm just going to write that down. So that was 01000F9A. Okay. We'll be remembering that number. Okay. Okay, now we are in game. We can go up to craft at the chemistry bench. Now I actually kind of neglected to mention this in the creation kit part of this tutorial. You can actually set what category you want it to be crafted under. I didn't bother with that, I just kept it as drugs. So we go to very cool guy jacket, we can see the cloth and leather requirements. We can craft it. And we can equip it. Right off the bat we can already see I'm wearing the sleeves for it in first person. And here it is in third person. You can see the sleeve is actually rolled up, it accounts for that. It's got the grenade on the side. Yeah, here's our outfit. Now we can also make other NPCs wear it to get a look at it on them. So this handsome fella right here, who looks a lot like me, we can give it to him. So equip item 2800F9A. And then we can see if we go to VATS him, the segments properly show up here. Although for some reason that little bit of chest shows up when we target the left arm, but you could fix that. Now, Dismemberment is a little hit or miss on custom outfits, but we can see it kinda got it right there. I don't know if I'm taking up too long. But anyway, you can see more or less how this kind of project unfolds. So I walk you through it from finding the pieces that you want on Nifskope, extracting them, throwing them into Blender, editing them, getting them weight painted, segmentized, set up in the creation kit. Alright, there you go. You're probably going to encounter some unusual things here and there throughout your journey. It's nothing you and Google together cannot conquer, I promise. Anyway, this has been like 4 hours of my life gone, and I hope it was worth it. I hope you learned something. Take care, everyone.